I was chopping onions when my sister said it. Not gently. Not with hesitation. She said it the way someone asks you to hold a bag for a moment, casual, impatient, already assuming the answer. Can you adopt my kids? She asked. Just permanently. The knife slipped. I nicked my finger, a thin line of red blooming against my skin. I stared at it because it made more sense than her words. Blood was logical. What she'd just said was not. We were standing in my kitchen, the same kitchen where she used to dump her children every weekend with a kiss on their foreheads and a rushed excuse. The same kitchen where her son learned to read cereal boxes, where her daughter once fell asleep on my shoulder during a storm. This place had held their laughter, their tears, their small, unfiltered trust. Adopt. I repeated slowly. You mean babysit for a while? She sighed, long and dramatic, like I was the one being unreasonable.
No.
I mean adopt. Legal. Papers. You're better at this stuff anyway. This stuff. As if children were paperwork. As if motherhood were a skill set I'd picked up by accident. I wrapped my finger in a towel and finally looked at her. My older sister. The one who always had everything first, marriage, house, kids, and always complained the loudest about it. She looked tired, yes, but not the tired of someone breaking. The tired of someone bored. They're too much now, she continued, leaning against the counter. School, tantrums, expenses. I never get time for myself. I feel trapped. You don't understand how heavy it gets. I did understand heavy. I just didn't understand walking away from it. You're their mother, I said. She laughed softly. Biologically. That doesn't mean I'm meant to raise them. The words settled between us, thick and ugly. I thought of her daughter clinging to my leg that morning, refusing to go home. I thought of her son asking me once, in a whisper, if he could live with me, just forever. Had they known? Had they felt this coming before I did? Why me? I asked. She shrugged. You don't have kids. You're responsible. You love them. And, honestly, they listen to you more than me. That last part wasn't said with guilt. It was said with relief. I felt something crack inside my chest, not loudly, but deeply. A quiet fracture. Because loving them was exactly why this felt like betrayal. Love wasn't supposed to be a reason someone abandoned their children. Love was supposed to make you stay. What happens to you? I asked. You just move on? Her eyes lit up for the first time since she arrived. I could finally breathe. Travel. Start over. I deserve that. Deserve. The word echoed as I looked around my kitchen again, already imagining empty chairs, small shoes left behind, bedtime stories that wouldn't be temporary anymore. I realized then that this wasn't a question. It was an exit. And she had already decided who would carry the weight she no longer wanted. She left 10 minutes after asking.
No argument. No tears.
Just a quick glance at her phone, a distracted think about it, and the sound of the front door closing behind her like punctuation at the end of a sentence she'd already written. I stood alone in the kitchen, the onions still half-chopped, the towel on my fingers soaked through. The house felt too quiet for a place that had been full of children only hours ago. Quiet had a way of making thoughts louder, crueler. Adopt my kids. The words replayed until they stopped sounding real. I washed my hands, changed the towel, and tried to breathe. That's when I heard it, soft footsteps on the hallway floor.
Careful.
Hesitant. Her daughter, Lily, stood at the doorway clutching a stuffed rabbit with one ear torn halfway off. She was 7, old enough to understand tone, not old enough to understand cruelty. Her eyes were wide, searching. Auntie, she said quietly, is Mommy mad at us? The question hit harder than anything my sister had said. No, I answered too quickly, kneeling down. Why would you think that? Lily shrugged, the rabbit's ear dangling. She said we're loud. And expensive. And that you're nicer. Behind her, her brother Noah lingered. 10 years old. Too old to ask questions like that out loud. His face was closed off, the way children's faces get when they start learning how to protect themselves. He didn't ask anything. He didn't need to. Did she say something to you? I asked gently. Lily nodded. She said maybe we'd stay with you forever. Like a sleepover that doesn't end. I felt my stomach drop. Forever. Children don't invent words like that. They repeat them. I pulled them both into a hug, and Lily melted into me instantly. Noah stood stiff at first, then slowly leaned in, his forehead pressing against my shoulder like he was too tired to hold himself up anymore. You're not in trouble, I said. None of this is your fault. Noah's voice was barely above a whisper. She doesn't want us anymore, does she? I closed my eyes. Every lie I could tell tasted wrong. Every truth felt too heavy to hand to a child. She's overwhelmed, I said carefully. Grown-ups get confused sometimes. He nodded, but he didn't look convinced. Smart kids never are. That night, they stayed over. Again. Only this time, the air felt different, charged, uncertain. Lily refused to sleep without holding my hand. Noah pretended he didn't care, but I found him awake long after midnight, staring at the ceiling. Can I ask you something? He said. Yes. If we live here, will you send us away too? When we get annoying? My chest tightened so hard it hurt. I sat up and looked him straight in the eyes. I don't send people away when they're inconvenient. He studied my face like he was memorizing it. Then he nodded once and turned over, finally letting sleep take him. I didn't sleep at all, because somewhere deep inside, a terrifying thought was taking shape, one I didn't want, one I wasn't ready for. What if I said no? And worse, what if saying no meant sending them back to someone who already saw them as a burden? Morning came too fast. Lily woke up smiling, like yesterday hadn't cracked something open. She made up games at the breakfast table, fed her rabbit imaginary cereal, and asked if we could always eat pancakes on weekdays. Noah was quieter, but he watched me constantly, like my next move might decide everything. When my sister called, my hands started shaking. I stepped into the hallway before answering. Hello. So, she said, skipping any greeting, have you thought about it? I closed my eyes. They already know something is wrong. A pause. Then a scoff. Kids always exaggerate. They use the word forever, I said. That didn't come from nowhere. She exhaled sharply. I may have mentioned it. They need time to adjust. Adjust. To being discarded. You can't just give your children away, I said. Her voice hardened. I'm not giving them away. I'm giving them to someone better. The words cut deeper than anger ever could. Better? I repeated. You're patient. You don't resent them. You actually enjoy being around them. She lowered her voice, almost reasonable now. Don't act like you haven't thought about how good you are with them. I had thought about it. Late at night. Quietly. And I'd always push the thought away, because wanting them felt like stealing. I don't resent them, I said slowly. But you do. Silence. Then she laughed. You're twisting this. I'm doing what's best. They deserve someone who wants them. And what happens when life gets hard for you again? I asked. Who do you walk away from next? That's not your concern. Of course it wasn't. She started talking logistics. Schools. Paperwork. Custody. As if this were a business transaction, not the dismantling of a family. I barely heard her until she said the part that made my heart stop. If you don't take them, she said casually, I'll figure something else out. Maybe foster care for a bit. Just until I get my life together. Foster care. I felt physically ill. You would put them in the system? I asked. They'd be fine, she said. Plenty of kids go through it. I thought of Lily clutching her rabbit. Noah asking if I'd send him away. I thought of strangers deciding where they slept, who they trusted, how many times they had to start over. My sister knew exactly what she was doing. This wasn't a request. It was a threat. I need time, I said. She sighed, annoyed. Don't take too long. I can't keep living like this. After the call, I sat on the floor, back against the wall, trying not to cry loud enough for them to hear. Because saying yes meant my life would never be the same again. It meant giving up privacy, freedom, ease. It meant becoming a mother overnight. But saying no meant gambling with their safety. At dinner, Noah pushed his food around his plate. She called you, didn't she? I froze. How did you know? She always calls when she wants something, he said without looking up. Did she decide? Lily leaned forward eagerly. Are we staying? Two faces. Two futures. I opened my mouth and realized whatever I said next would change all of our lives forever. I didn't answer them at the table. I couldn't. Instead, I cleared the dishes too fast, my hands clumsy, my thoughts louder than the clatter of plates. Lily watched me like I might disappear if she blinked. Noah said nothing, but I felt his eyes on my back, sharp and waiting. That night, after they finally slept, I opened my laptop and searched words I never thought I'd type. How to adopt your sister's children. The screen filled with laws, forms, requirements, background checks, court hearings.
Permanence.
There was no undo button. At 2:13 a.m., my sister texted, "Have you decided yet?" I stared at the message for a long time before replying. "I need to talk to you in person. Tomorrow." Her response came instantly.
Fine.
But don't make this harder than it needs to be. Harder. I barely slept. When morning came, I dressed the kids for school like it was any other day. Lily hummed. Noah packed his bag carefully, lining his pencils up just right. Small signs of control in a life that was slipping away from him. When I dropped them off, Noah paused before getting out of the car. You'll pick us up, right? Yes, I said without hesitation. He nodded once, satisfied for now. My sister arrived at my place that afternoon wearing sunglasses and confidence.
She didn't sit.
She paced. So, she asked, are we doing this or not? I took a breath. You're asking me to become their mother. She shrugged. Call it whatever you want. They'll never stop hoping you'll come back, I said. Are you prepared for that? She took off her sunglasses then, irritation flashing across her face. That's not my problem anymore. The words landed heavy and final. You don't even sound sad, I said quietly. She crossed her arms. Sad doesn't fix things. This does. I realized then that she'd already let go. Whatever love she'd had for them had been worn down, replaced by resentment she refused to name. If I do this, I said, voice steady despite the storm inside me, there are conditions. She rolled her eyes. Of course there are. You don't come in and out of their lives when it's convenient, I continued. No promises you can't keep.
No disappearing acts.
You either commit to being stable, or you step back and let them heal. Her jaw tightened. You don't get to tell me how to be their mother. If I adopt them, I said, you won't be. Silence. For the first time, she looked unsure. You'd really cut me out? She asked. I'd protect them, I answered. That's the difference. She laughed nervously. You're acting like I'm some villain. I'm acting like they're children, I said. And you're done being responsible for them. She looked away. I just want my life back. And they want a mother who wants them, I said. We don't all get what we want. Minutes passed. Then she exhaled, defeated and annoyed all at once.
Fine, she said.
Do whatever paperwork you want. I don't care. The words should have felt like victory. They felt like a funeral. When I picked Lily and Noah up from school, Lily ran to me. Did Mommy decide? I knelt down, heart pounding. I did, I said. Noah's face went pale. And I pulled them both close, holding on like I might never let go again. You're coming home with me? I said. Not for a sleepover. For good. Lily smiled. It was immediate and bright, the kind of smile that bursts out before fear has time to catch it. She wrapped her arms around my neck and laughed, like I'd just told her we were going to the park. For good, she asked. For good, I said. Noah didn't smile. He stepped back, eyes narrowing, scanning my face for cracks. You're sure? He asked. Like, court sure? I nodded. I'm starting everything. Paperwork. Lawyers. All of it. He swallowed hard. Okay. That was all he said. But his shoulders dropped, just a little, like he'd been carrying a bag too heavy for his age, and finally set it down. That night, reality arrived quietly. Lily asked where her clothes would go. Noah asked if he had to change schools.
They asked what to call me now.
Aunt felt too small. Mom felt too big. The space between those words was terrifying. You can call me whatever feels right, I told them.
Lily tried it out softly. Nga.
The word knocked the air out of my lungs. I turned away so she wouldn't see my eyes fill. Yes, sweetheart. I managed. You can. Noah didn't say it. He watched. He listened. He stored everything away like evidence, waiting to see if it would all disappear. The first letter from the lawyer came 2 weeks later. Official. Cold. It spoke of consent, termination of parental rights, hearings scheduled months out. My sister signed without reading.
No hesitación.
No questions. That hurt more than anger ever could. She didn't call the kids. Not once. Lily asked at first. Then less. Then not at all. Noah pretended not to care, but I heard him late one night in the bathroom, whispering into the phone voicemail she never checked. It's me. Just wanted to say goodnight. He hung up before it beeped. I stood outside the door, helpless, realizing love alone didn't erase abandonment. It just softened the edges. Money became tighter. Time vanished. I learned to juggle school meetings, doctor visits, nightmares, and the quiet panic of wondering if I was enough. Some nights I cried after they slept, terrified I'd fail them the way their own mother had. One evening, my sister finally showed up. No warning. No call. Lily froze when she saw her, hope and fear colliding on her face. Noah went rigid. I just wanted to see them, my sister said lightly. I miss them. Miss them. You don't get to drop in, I said, stepping between her and the kids. Not like this. She rolled her eyes. You're overreacting. Noah spoke then, his voice shaking but clear. Are you taking us back? The question silenced the room. My sister hesitated. Just a second. But it was enough.
No, she said.
I just wanted to check in. Lily's face crumpled. I felt something in me harden. You need to leave, I said. My sister stared at me, shocked. Excuse me? You're reopening wounds you refuse to heal, I said. You don't get access without responsibility. She scoffed. You think you're their savior now? No, I said. I think I'm their shelter. She left furious. The house felt safer the moment the door closed. That night, Noah knocked on my bedroom door. You really won't send us back? He asked. I pulled him into a hug. Never. And for the first time, he cried. Not loud. Not messy. Just quietly into my shoulder, finally letting himself believe forever might actually mean something. The court date came faster than I expected. I told myself it was just a formality. My sister had signed everything. The kids were settled. Our life, chaotic as it was, had found a rhythm. Pancakes on Saturdays. Homework at the kitchen table. Nightmares that came less often now. Then 3 days before the hearing, my sister called. I almost didn't answer. I want my kids back, she said the moment I picked up.
No greeting. No words.
Just possession. My heart started racing. What are you talking about? I've had time to think, she continued. I was overwhelmed. That doesn't mean I should lose them forever. You terminated your rights, I said. You made that choice. I didn't understand what I was signing, she snapped. You rushed me. I laughed once, sharp and disbelieving. You signed without reading. That's not the same thing. She lowered her voice. People are asking questions. Do you know how it looks? A mother giving up her kids? They think I'm a monster. There it was. Not regret. Reputation. You don't want them back, I said. You want forgiveness without responsibility. You're turning them against me, she accused. Lily barely talks to me now. Noah won't even look at me. They're protecting themselves, I said. The way you never did. Her tone shifted, sweet and dangerous. You know the court might not side with you. I'm their real mother. The word real burned. I am the one raising them, I said. Every day. You're just a substitute, she said coldly. Temporary. The call ended with a warning. I'll see you in court. I didn't tell the kids right away. I wanted one normal evening. But children sense storms before clouds appear. Something's wrong, Noah said that night. I sat them down on the couch, my hands shaking despite my resolve. Your mother has questions. About the adoption. Lily's face went white. Is she taking us back? No, I said firmly. I won't let that happen. But can she? Noah asked. I swallowed. She can try. The courtroom was smaller than I imagined.
Too small for how much was at stake.
My sister sat across from me, polished and confident. She cried when it was her turn to speak. Said she'd been depressed.
Confused.
Manipulated. Said I'd taken advantage of her weakness. I watched the judge's face carefully, fear pounding in my ears. Then my lawyer spoke. About school records. Therapy reports. Stability. About Lily calling me at night when she had bad dreams. About Noah's grades improving, his teachers noting he smiled more now. When it was my turn, I stood. I never planned to be their mother, I said. But I planned to protect them the moment they needed me. The judge looked at my sister. Why did you wait until now to contest this? She hesitated. The truth hung heavy in the silence. I didn't realize what I was losing, she said finally. The judge nodded slowly. You lost it when you walked away. The ruling came swiftly. The adoption would proceed. My sister didn't look at me as she left. Outside, Noah waited, tense. Lily clutched my hand. It's okay, I said, voice breaking. We're staying together. Lily burst into tears. Noah closed his eyes, relief flooding his face. But as I held them both, I knew something else had changed. Forever had been tested, and it had held. Life didn't settle all at once after the ruling. It softened, slowly, like a bruise fading instead of vanishing. The papers were signed. The names were changed. The court called me their legal parent, but the real proof came in the quiet moments, permission slips, school emergencies, bedtime fears whispered in the dark. Months passed. Then one evening, the past knocked on our door. I knew it was her before I opened it. My sister stood there, thinner somehow, eyes sharp with a desperation she tried to mask as confidence. She held no gifts, no apologies. I just want to see them, she said. They're my children. I didn't step aside. They get to choose now, I said. Not you. She scoffed. They're kids.
They don't know what they want.
I turned and called gently. Lily? Noah? They appeared in the hallway. Lily froze the moment she saw her mother. Noah stepped in front of her without thinking, his small body instinctively shielding hers. My sister's voice softened.
Bobby?
I missed you. Lily shook her head, clutching my hand. You didn't come when I cried, she said quietly. The words landed like a verdict. My sister swallowed. I was busy. Grown-up stuff. Noah looked her straight in the eyes. You said we were a burden. Her face flushed. I didn't mean it like that.
But you said it, he replied. Come. Certain.
And she stayed. Silence filled the space between us. My sister stepped forward. Just a hug, she pleaded. Please. Lily took a step back.
No.
It was small, polite, final. My sister turned to me, fury flashing. You poisoned them against me. I shook my head. You taught them who was safe. She waited. For tears. For regret. For me to change my mind. None came. After a long moment, she turned and walked away. No drama.
No closure.
Just the sound of footsteps retreating down the path she had chosen long ago. That night, Lily crawled into my bed. Noah followed, pretending it was temporary. We lay there in the dark, 3 hearts finally beating at the same pace. She won't come back, will she? Lily whispered. No, I said. But you're not alone anymore. Noah spoke next. You didn't have to choose us. I know, I said. I wanted to. He nodded, absorbing that truth like a foundation stone. Years from now, people will ask how I became a parent. I'll tell them the truth. Not through birth. Through choice. Through staying when someone else walked away. through loving children who are called a burden and showing them they were, and always had been, home.